Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Thanksgiving napkin holder. Now this is one of the 4 items in this new bundle that we've designed to help you add some DIY to your Thanksgiving festivities this year. So this one's actually pretty straightforward, should be easily mass produced. Now I have the main structure here, and before we actually put it together, I'm going to put my gold foil pieces down onto these sections here. Now these are just going to go like so, and there's going to be an even border around the actual cutout here. So let's start by getting our glue on the back of our foil. You may not be using foil, maybe you have a nice plaid pattern or something out of one of your favorite fall stacks, that's fine. And again, we're going to put this down and just make sure that we maintain a nice even border all the way around, okay? Just like that. I would actually focus on looking at this section here with the little scallops. You want those to be consistent. Those are going to be seen a lot more, I think, than the bottom part. But there's the first one, okay? If you happen to have a little brayer, I would flip it over. If you're using foil, you don't want to bray on top of it because it's actually more prone to getting, well, just nicked and scratched. It's almost like, it's a mirror foil, so it's literally like glass kind of. On paper, you probably wouldn't see it as much, but just to be safe, I'd flip it over. Okay, so here's the next one. And again, I'm starting up here by the scallops. And I'm going to put those down, make sure I'm maintaining a nice even border all the way down. Okay, just like that. I'm going to flip it over and use my brayer to really get that in place. Help that glue penetrate my cardstock. Okay, we got 2 more to go. So this one should go pretty quick. Actually, most of the projects in this bundle are going to go really quick, and I will be talking about this through all of the tutorials here, but there's no rule saying that you have to use only paper in, you know, your decor. It can just be an element, and you can add other things. So when you see our photos for the bundle, you'll notice that I have you'll notice that I have all sorts of fall-y elements in addition to the paper craft. So there'll be acorns and pine cones and some pomegranates, you know, things of that nature that I'm going to use alongside everything else. Because why not? You know, the more the merrier. It is actually, you know, it's a holiday that celebrates, well, harvests. And obviously we're giving thanks for the things we have, but it was also a time of harvest. So things were pretty bountiful, hence the cornucopia, which we don't have part of this in this bundle, but maybe someday. Okay. All right, so we've got all 4 panels on, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take this tab here, and we're going to glue it to the other end. So let's do that. Let's get our glue on this tab, just kind of doing a little curly Q sort of pattern, and then I'll throw a little bit extra down at the very bottom and spread that glue out to the very edge. Okay, and then you can take the other side and just pop it right into place. Now technically you should be able to flatten this out. Okay, and by flattening it out, you're actually helping it find the appropriate place where it needs to glue down. Just helping it line up a lot better. Okay, so there we go. Very simple, very elegant so far. And the cool thing is we don't even need glue on here. You just take it, fold it, and just tuck that tab in, and we're done. Okay, so that's that. Now you'll notice that on one of these pieces, there are a series of little markers. Okay, now that is the side that we're going to be putting our floral elements on. So that's why that's there. So just kind of keep that face up. And speaking of which, you can get into our floral elements here and just start getting those glued down. It's going to be very simple. There's only one sort of challenging thing, and that's just making a stamen for one of the pieces, but it will not be difficult. Definitely want to grab a couple dowels and get those situated and ready. So one thing you'll also notice on all these pieces, well, not all of them, but the ones for this section here are numbered, okay? You'll notice that there's a number 1 on here. So obviously we're gonna start with the number 1. And this is where you can get your dowel out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of curl the tips of the leaves here just to make them feel and look a little more natural. So I'm literally just taking and placing the tip of each little leaf between my thumb and the dowel, and then just wrapping the dowel around that paper, just kind of giving it a curl. Now you can also do the same thing to the stem here so that it's not so flat, okay? And in this case, I kind of want to wrap it around the side of this. So there's your little markers there for your number 1, okay? And we're just going to get that glued down right about there. So we are gluing this to foil. So I'm going to have to be a little bit more patient with this. Okay, so again, there's the little marker there. And actually, if you just put that in the center with the little Roman numeral, you know, straight up and down, you know you have it in the right spot. Same with this. As long as the Roman numerals are straight up and down, then you have it in the right spot. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with these. Now again, if you're mass producing these, I guess technically if you don't want to sit here and curl the floral elements, you don't have to, but I mean, it literally only takes a few seconds, so you might as well. Okay, so let's grab our glue, put it on the back of this piece here, and again, just keep that Roman numeral 2 straight up and down. Okay, and that will automatically put it in the correct spot. Okay, so next is number 3, and we have some beautiful maple leaves here. And again, if you just keep this straight up and down, you can see that it's just going to pop into place exactly where it needs to be. Okay, and we can actually maybe curve it just a little bit more, but I don't think it's necessary. Just follow the rule of the orientation of the Roman numerals and you'll be in good shape. Okay, so I'm just taking and I'm now pinching the edge of the leaf here between my finger and the dowel, and then I'll just take it and give it a curl. And as you can see here, I've also done some inking to the tips of these, and I didn't just stick with one color, because sometimes if you look at maple leaves, you'll see that they have hints of red, brown, maybe occasionally some purple. So just, you know, pull out some colors that kind of go in line with our color palette already, greens, yellows, purples, and ink the leaf with those colors, and it'll look great. Okay, so putting some glue on the little circle element there, and I'm going to go ahead and pop that down again with the Roman numeral 3. There we go. Just like that. Okay, and then next we've got this little leaf element. Okay, and you can see I also inked that, and there is a little, well, I don't think we really need to worry too much about the numbering system at this point, but there's a little 4 on there, and that 4 is in the shape of, well, I guess it's kind of just a box, a square. Okay, I'm going to fold this and give this a little bit of a curve too. I'm just doing it with my fingers, and that's fine. Okay, I'm holding that down while I do this. I'm not even sure that first layer is completely set yet. That looks fine. Okay, and just give that a little bit of a pinch, a little bit of a curl. All right, so now it's time to put together the actual flower elements. And we have 2 different types of flowers. We have these purple ones. Those are going to go on the bottom here. And then we have, and this little tiny maple leaf that's going to go with those, as well as this guy here. We'll do that later. And we have this flower here, okay? And what we're going to do, I got to get a skinnier dowel here. There we go. I'm going to take and we're going to curl these leaves up. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to pull them up like this. I'm just literally bending them. And then we're going to take and we're going to curl the petals back. So I'm just taking and pinching each petal between my finger and my dowel, and then I'm rolling it down the inside part of the flower. Okay, so it's very, very simple. And just continue doing that until we have this instead of just this. Okay, you can see the difference there. Excuse me, fly. It's not time for dinner yet, buddy. Okay, and now we're gonna go from tallest to smallest. Okay, so that would be the biggest one. And again, I'm doing the same thing, just bending the leaves or the petals in. And then I'm gonna take my dowel and fold the tips of those back a little bit, just to give them a little bit of oomph, so they're not so flat. Okay. There we go. So what we can do now is just throw a little bit of glue into the center of our flower, and then take the smaller petal, pop it in there, and make sure you offset it so that each petal's not sitting on top of the previous layer. You want it to be offset so we can see all of these little petals. Okay. All right, so now going to the next smallest. So we're going from tallest or biggest to smallest. Okay, and doing the same exact thing here. Just gonna take and fold these petals in, and then we're gonna take and using a dowel, I'm gonna actually get a thinner dowel now since we're dealing with smaller paper or smaller petal, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna take and pinch the petal between my finger and the dowel, and then curl it down. Okay. All right, and moving right along here, just a few little dots of glue in the center of that flower will be plenty. We don't need to overdo it. And again, offsetting the petals so that they're not right on top of each other. And that just leaves one more. Again, give them a good bend, and then we'll train them with our dowel. And just pop it between your finger and the dowel and curl downward. Okay, so it should not take long at all. And again, I said the most challenging, and I use that word loosely because this is not difficult at all, is our little stamen piece, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, just a tiny little dot of glue there in the center. Grab your last little petal, drop it in there, and make sure you offset it so it's not right on top of the previous layer. Okay. Can actually create a little more separation if you want. That is a loud fly. Okay, so that just leaves our little stamen piece. So what we're gonna do, we're literally just gonna take and wrap this thing around itself. Okay, so I'm gonna just take it and fold it right at well, there's two of them here. Okay, so I just folded at the second little stamen piece, and then just go ahead and wrap it around itself. If you want to, I would start kind of making it more circular here at the very bottom instead of folding it like a piece of paper over and over again. Now you want to roll it instead. Okay, so we're just rolling it all the way down until we get to the end. And just before we get to the end, you're going to take and just put a little bit of glue right here, right at the end. And I'm going to thin that out a bit. And then just continue rolling it over that glue until it's completely, it's completely wrapped to itself. Okay, while we're holding it and waiting for that glue to set, you can start taking and just kind of flaring these little stamen pieces out. And it's going to create a very detailed little stamen piece for the inside of our flower, just like that. Okay, you can spread these out pretty much as far as they'll go so that they kind of create a little cone shape. Okay, that being said, let's take and put a little bit of glue at the bottom of this piece here. You can go a little bit heavier if you want on this, and then just pop that right in the center of the flower. Okay, and I'm gonna let that set for a minute before I start messing with it. Okay. So put that off to the side, and then we can work on the other little flowers here. Okay, so we're going to start off with the leaf first. If you look at it, you'll see that there's a Roman numeral 1 on there. So just like we did before, I'm going to take and just kind of give these a little bit of a curve, just pinching between my finger and the dowel. Okay, and this is actually going to go right up here. There's another set of little score marks. Okay, and also keep in mind that if you keep that little Roman numeral 1 vertical, you know, as if you wrote the Roman numeral 1, just straight up and down, then you'll have it in the right spot. And next, we're going to take and grab our little leaf here. I'm going to also curl that a bit. I'll use a thinner dowel since it's smaller. Okay, and I'm going to take and kind of peel that back and maybe bring that forward a little bit, the tip, just kind of bend it. Okay, and find that Roman numeral 2, keep it in the correct orientation, and you'll have it exactly where it needs to be. Let's just pop a little drop of glue on that. And again, looking at that Roman numeral 2, keeping it nice and straight up and down, and we have it in the right spot. Okay, so now we have this little purple flower, okay, and each one, there's 2 of them total. Well, there's 4 cutouts, but there's 2 completed flowers for this last section, and each one is going to use 2 of these pieces. Okay, and all 4 of these are identical as far as size goes, so you don't need to worry about making sure you have the right size or anything like that. But we just want to take and literally just kind of just bring the petals up. Okay, so you can actually just do that with your fingers. If you put one of your fingers in the center and just kind of curl it around your finger, that's really all we're looking for. We just want them to be up and not sitting flat. Okay, if it helps, you can pop a dowel in there. And I would actually recommend doing this after we get it onto the piece, because chances are it's going to flatten out a little bit anyway as we're gluing pieces together. Okay, so grab your other one. I'm going to actually flare this one up as well. I'm just holding it with the dowel because I think my fingers are actually pushing it down. And there we go. I think it's easier just to do it around your finger initially. Yep. There we go. Okay, just throw a little dot of glue there in the center. Grab the other one. Now do your best to try to offset these. It may be tough because there's so many little petals, but it can still be done. So just take your time and make sure it's nice and offset. And once it is, you just kind of do the same thing. Okay, try to maybe create some separation between the 2 layers, and throw a little dot of glue there and pop that one into place. There we go. And we'll do the same thing with the last one here at the bottom. Okay, so we've got one more little purple flower here, and I've got these really cool little embellishments to go in the center of the purple flowers. That's going to look really nice. So again, I'm just kind of putting this on my finger and wrapping it around. Okay, just giving it a little bit of dimension like so. And as you can tell, I know I mentioned this earlier in the video, but I did take my time to ink all of these pieces, with the exception of the base, the red base here, and the gold foil. I did not ink those. I don't think those really needed to be inked. But as far as the floral elements go, I did take some time and ink those pieces. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the second purple flower. Just pop it in there, give it a little bit of an offset if you can. Okay, and this is actually going to go right down here on the corner. We don't have a marker for that one, but it's not really necessary because it's pretty obvious where this one's going to go. And it's going to go right about there. Okay, just like that. Okay, and one other thing I did with this flower was I took a really thin dowel, and then I took all the layers and just kind of, you can probably just do this, or squeeze it together a little bit so that it just seems more compact that way. Okay, so let's flip this over. We're going to put a little bit of glue on the back of this, and as you probably guessed, we're going to put this right here, like so. Okay, and that just leaves a few embellishments. Now with embellishments, I always recommend that you use glue to keep them in place, especially because some of the adhesives that come on these are not the best, and they tend to kind of lose their effectiveness over time, and then embellishments fall off, and it just doesn't look that good anymore. But that's pretty much it for this one. It's a very simple one. Now I went kind of slow and I was blabbing and giving you tips and things of that nature. So of course it's going to take me a little bit longer, but it is actually a very quick little project. And then just literally, for those of you, what's going on here? Oh no, I got glue on this. That's okay. So for those of you that have never done this before, literally take your your table napkin and open it up. Just grab it from the center, and then that's it. Just pop it in there. And that goes right in. Just push that down as far as I can go. Okay, this is not the color that I'll be using for this because it's kind of more Halloween-y and a little crazy, but just wanted to show you kind of what it would look like. Okay, and it's very elegant. So obviously you'd want to make one of these for each person that is joining you for Thanksgiving dinner this year. But that's it. Very simple project. Hope you enjoyed it. I think you could absolutely do this one with a child, and you guys can kind of tag team it and get all your place settings done. But yeah, so anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you head over to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this little address that you see at the bottom of the screen. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Hope you had a great time, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.